Hey there, happy Thursday afternoon, my friends. It's Patrick Allmond from Focus Marketing, and I thought I would go into some questions I received recently. And so we're going to get started on those here recently. Someone just walked into the office and just said, hey, I have questions about a career in marketing. They were thinking about getting a career in marketing. And I thought it seemed like a little scammy at first, but we rescheduled it today. And so the person kind of went through like a 10-question Q&A about a career in marketing, and I thought it would be useful to answer those questions for anybody else. And if it's not useful for you, then what you can do is you can share it with someone who's considering getting into marketing and kind of my opinions on things on marketing, where you should go, the trends, how things are, things like that. Hey, Chloe, it's good to see you. And so if you know someone who's in the marketing field, I would love to get their feedback on this. So can you do me a favor as we're ramping up and as you're getting settled in to watch the show here, can you do all the standard stuff you do to help a brother out, like, share, comment, do specifically the sharing. Share this or tag someone who's in marketing, because I would love for them to join also and give me their feedback in the comments and have some interaction there, because I'm only one guy with one set of opinions. And a quick shout out to all my friends in Oklahoma City as we sit here and make our way through what seems like another Noah's Ark session. We've had some pretty serious floods here today in Oklahoma City. I had some morning appointments around the city, and even I was delayed because it's like the streets were completely flooding, and there was running water, and people were picking up the legs of their pants and taking off their shoes and wading through the water. Plenty of lightning, and I think we have some more coming later today. So please be careful out there if you are in Oklahoma City today, because the rain is just insane. And one last thing, as we're getting set up and getting all this going, if you are not in Oklahoma City, or even if you are, do me a favor and drop a comment as to where you are listening from, because the internet is amazing and social media is awesome. And so it's always cool to see people tuning in from all corners of the globe. So I may have a neighbor tune in from across the street, which I think is pretty awesome. I may have someone tune in from 2,000 miles away, and I may have someone tune in that's over in Ireland. Ireland? Did I say that right? Or the UK or Africa or any other place. It's just so cool when people all over the place tune in. And so this is what happened. Today is Thursday. And Wednesday, someone walked in the office, I'm assuming a student of some sort, and started and basically had some questions about getting into a career in marketing. And I put off the appointment until today. And so earlier this morning, we went through a job, almost not going to say a job interview, almost like a, hey, Patrick, what do you recommend for a career interview? Because I run a digital marketing agency. And so I thought I'd run through some of those questions, because whenever somebody wants some free content, I always like that. I always like sharing that with everybody else. So again, if you've got some of your answers to these specific questions, please drop them in the comments, because I'd love to talk about those also. Okay, so we took the call this morning, and the first question was, Patrick, how did you get your path into marketing? My path into marketing started with the fact that I've always been in a digital world, whether it's software development, whether it's teaching software development, whether it's traveling all over the world teaching how to do software development better, or doing my own marketing, and eventually doing marketing for somebody else. I've always been pretty good at just a small number of things. One is standing in front of a group of people or being on camera and talking. And two, teaching in general. And three, anything geeky or nerdy or computer related. Those are the things that I've been halfway decent at in my life. So if this is like the intersection of all those things, I love to teach marketing. I love to get involved in some of the techie details sometimes and learn and experiment with marketing. And I'm just the kind of person who loves to talk in general. I'm not sure, is that all three? Yeah, that might be two or three. Anyways, marketing is kind of the intersection of all these. And I learned a while back that marketing is marketing is kind of the thing that really can grow or shrink a business. So marketing impacts every single business, a for-profit, a non-profit, a big company, a small one-person company. Every single person needs marketing. So a while back, I decided that this is kind of something that impacts everybody. It can be a service to everybody, and it's fun. And I think I'm enjoying maybe a little bit more on the teaching side than the doing side, but the doing side allows me to teach other people and allows me to reach a ton of people. So that's one of the reasons that's kind of the path I got into marketing, because I've always had a digital background, always had kind of a public speaking, teaching, lecturing background, and that eventually led me to where I am here today in 2018. The second question the person asked was, what do you like the most about marketing? I love the fact that, especially in digital marketing, things are constantly changing, and the fact that everything I do is a test or an experiment. One of the ways I educate people in marketing is basically telling them that marketing is not a definite cause and effect, and it's not really a science, as in you do X, Y, and you will always get Z. Digital marketing and social media is very fluid and dynamic. And so on Monday, you may do X, Y, and get Z. And on Tuesday, you may do X, Y, and get K or A or B or whatever. It just depends on what the volume of traffic is on the internet, what social media algorithm or Google algorithm you happen to be hitting. That's what impacts the cause and effect of any marketing that you do. So I kind of like that uncertainty and the fact that you learn that one thing works and something else didn't work, and oh goodness gracious, Tuesday you have to go back and revisit the drawing board because on Monday you tried something that worked a week ago Monday and it didn't work this time. So that's the thing that I like the most about it. And the next question was the corollary or the opposite is, what do you like the least about working in digital marketing? The first answer that came to mind here is the fact that there's such a low barrier to entry. And for my friends who work in digital marketing, I'm sure you've seen this also, is that a bunch of people can get in and do it really badly or really poorly, which tends to be good for people that know how to do it right. But what happens is when people get in and do it poorly, they think things are working, and then they will then propagate rumors or myths, or all of a sudden they'll have some fluke piece of luck and they'll get on a stage and tell people, oh, this is how you should be doing something. And I'm sure all of us have seen people basically preach about doing something a certain way, and you know better because you've got a lot more experience, then you're like screaming in your head, like, no, don't do that. That's a horrible idea right there. For example, one of mine is doing pay-per-click traffic and sending it to the homepage of a website. I was doing some research for a client this morning, and I made a list of like 15 competitors, and majority of those, like 10 of those, are spending money for leads and for traffic in Google AdWords and sending people to the homepage. And if you work in pay-per-click, you know that's just not a very good idea. But those people doing that pay-per-click work are impacting the cost of the ads for my client and for my team, which is going to get it right. So the low cost, the low barrier to entry, and some of the amateur work that people do when they don't know what they're doing. Now, that being said, everybody in this field, and as in every field, was an amateur at one point. So a lot of money is spent on internet marketing, what I call a learning tax or an experimentation tax or a try and fail tax. And so all of us were there at one point. I'm sure when I first started pay-per-click work that what was I going to say? That I made some mistakes, and I still make them, but I'm getting better at it, and my team's getting better at it, and the people that I teach are getting better at it all the time. And so that's my goal. One of my goals in life is to teach people, as many people as possible, on stages and one-on-ones and in group coaching and in remote sessions. I do all that stuff to teach people basically how to make fewer mistakes and how to make them faster. If you can make more mistakes as fast as possible in digital marketing and in life, you will have more progress than the people out there and then other people out there that are afraid to jump. And you know my phrase, done is better than perfect. That's eventually going to be on the wall back here once I get the letters off the floor. Ironically, done is better than perfect, is that try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. But once you keep doing that and keep swinging at that, you're going to eventually hit some home runs. So that's my thing that's the least favorite. But you know what? Also, those people are going to learn faster, and I have an amazing amount of admiration for people that will do things and have them fail in their face. You'll get frustrated, but man, you'll learn a lot, quite a bit. Okay, so the next question the person asked me, well, what's the most rewarding part of my job? I think that's going to kind of be like, what do I like the most? Except for I gave a little bit different answer on this. What's the most rewarding part of my job? When I see results. When I can actually correlate that I did a lot of try, fail stuff, and eventually I see things that work. And more often than not, you're going to see that in quantifiable numbers. You're going to see that number of phone calls that we generate, or the number of leads, or the number of website visitors, the number of opt-ins. In a lot of the digital world, you can quantify success. You can quantify visitors to ROI or visitors to leads and cost per lead. You can measure stuff, and certain numbers you want to go up and certain numbers you want to go down. And after we work on a campaign for a while, it's really cool. We can trend that stuff. And I can say, you know what? We tried this experiment and it didn't work. Let's try another experiment. And eventually we'll have an experiment where something actually worked. And that's the rewarding part right there, to be able to say, we tried it, we failed, we tried it, we failed, but we had success this last time at bat. And then we can scale that success. So keep that in mind, that a lot of internet marketing is failure tax or experimentation tax. The job outlook, that's the next question the person asked me. What's the job outlook for marketing, and specifically digital marketing? I think the job outlook is amazing. And the reason I say that is because more and more of our world is going digital. We are finding more and more ways to take tactile things or in-person shopping experiences and moving them to something online. I don't know about you, but there are so many things I get brought to my door right now, whether it's meds, lower over-the-counter meds, or Jerry, brother, man, it's good to see you on there. Thanks for popping in. Whether it's my toothpaste or my razors or my tangerines or my coffee, that stuff's just brought to my door right now. And same thing with paperwork and contracts and certain service offerings. And heck, I can even pull up a doctor on my smartphone now and have a doctor look me over or look at my symptoms and be able to diagnose me and prescribe me meds. I don't have to go to the doctor anymore. I can lay in bed looking all sickly and just have a doctor basically come into my bed for all intents and purposes. So I think the digital world is growing, and specifically the answer I gave him was the world of digital video. Video, like you're watching right here with me being live, and all other areas, that video is just going more and more online. I don't know about you, but I cut my cable cord a while back. If you guys did, also drop a comment down there. And we live strictly off of a very high-speed internet connection, and Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and HBO Now and DirecTV. We don't have any cable anymore. Now, ironically, we still pay the cable company to get that IP address, but we don't have a cable box anymore. We don't need any DVR or that stuff anymore. I noticed recently that Apple TV and even DirecTV is starting to have some of those DVR capabilities built in. So, the world's just going more and more digital. And it's interesting is I've been dabbling and experimenting with digital video for quite some time, possibly 10 years or longer. So people that talk about, oh my goodness, digital video is just now coming to the internet. It's been there for a while, like LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. It's been here for years. But like all things, the tools are getting easier and easier and easier. And it takes nothing for a trained monkey, case in point, to be able to set up an IP system in their office, to get a halfway decent lighting system, to get a halfway decent microphone, to get a halfway decent camera, and be able to broadcast across the world in HD. 5-10 years ago, that was not easily possible. It required a much higher cost to entry and a much higher barrier to entry to be able to do all this. And so it would have been taking a big TV station to do it. But again, any trained monkey like me can set up an instant broadcast HD TV studio in their office and be off and running. So if you can do video, live video, and if you can present well, that's where I think there's a big future in online marketing, is because it's just going to blow it up. And the fact that each of us carries an HD TV studio in our pocket these days makes it a lot easier. I mean, it's nothing. You can look previously there on my timeline. I just put up some HD video, some flooding here going on in Oklahoma City. 10 years ago, that was not as easy as it is now. And by the way, as you keep watching or as you're tuning in and tuning out, do me a favor and share this with any of your marketing friends. Tag them there because I would love their feedback in the comments also. And like I said, drop a comment as you're watching. Let me know where you're coming in from. Skills needed was the next question. And that kind of gets back to the first one, the previous one on job outlook. As far as skills needed, I believe the ability to understand testing and to be able to see big picture stuff is what's going to carry you far in internet marketing. Let's go on to the first one a little bit deeper. The ability to know that a lot of what you're doing is testing. Whether you're building a web page or you're putting out a video or you are putting up paid ads on the internet, to know that from the get-go, you're not going to have a winner. And it could be very possible that the very first time you try something, it's going to fail, especially for those people that are just getting into things like paid advertising or certain kinds of online marketing. The very first time you deploy something, you're going to fail. So the ability to know that you don't just deploy one thing for a marketing campaign, you do A/B testing or you do multivariate testing. To the ability to understand that you have to do that from the get-go is going to carry you far in this world. And by the way, people have been doing multivariate testing and A/B testing for decades. Anyone that's done any kind of long-term direct mail work or postcard work or phone call work, anyone that got really good at that got good because they did a lot of testing. You try, if you're doing phone call work, you're trying out various scripts to see which one makes people whip out their credit card faster. If you're doing paid advertising, you are deploying multiple sets of paid ads and possibly even multiple things on a web page or on a landing page or multiple versions of a landing page to see which one is more effective. So if you can do that, that to me is something that's going to carry you far in the world of digital marketing. The second thing I talked about was thinking at a high level. If there are people out there who want to know how things work at a tactical level, meaning if they want to know the details of what do you click on in YouTube to edit this and to deploy this, or what do you click on in Facebook to have a certain ad go a certain way or make a certain image show up. They like knowing all that clickety-click detailed stuff. And what was I going to say? And that's someone who's interested in the tactical side. However, if you want a long-term career in marketing, learn something from the strategy side. Learn how to basically whiteboard. I'll have to do some whiteboard work sometime because I've got a nice big whiteboard for my office I never use. Learn how to whiteboard a strategy for a client and say, we're going to roll this out month 1, we're going to roll this out month 2, we're going to roll this out month 3, and this is going to feed into this, and this is why you want to do this, and this is why you don't want to do this. If you can learn marketing strategy, you are going to have a great long-term career. Now, here's the thing about marketing strategy. Try to go back to some of the classics out there of people that have been teaching advertising and marketing strategy for a long, long time. And by long time, in my world, I mean like the Dan Kennedys of the world, the Ogilvies of the world. Go look at some of the classic people back in the quote-unquote Mad Men era that have been doing marketing and advertising for a while. I know there's always new and upcoming books about latest and greatest marketing fads, but more often than not, you pick up a book that was written in the past 3 months, and it's either going to directly or indirectly reference things that were done a long time ago. Even in this world of marketing advertising, there's nothing new under the sun. There's just new variations of it and new tricks for old dogs. So if you pick up a marketing book that was written in the past 3 months, it's probably going to have a lot of information on it that was back in the classic book, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. I think it was 22. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that book, 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, is timeless. It's a classic. Same with the big black and white book, Ogilvy on Advertising. I've got both of those books on my shelf, and they're great reference material. But if you can read those and learn marketing strategy at a high level, then you are going to get a lot further than someone that just picked up a marketing book that was written 2 months ago and thinks they are the shiz. They are not the shiz. You are the shiz. You're going to learn the classics. Okay, we talked about skills needed. Let me see. What were these other 2 questions here? Let me see if I understand these with my haphazard handwriting. Opportunities. Oh, one of the other questions I think was, where would be the right place to start when it comes to learning marketing? Well, number one, I want to give you a classic. Subscribe to my videos on YouTube. Get on my email list over at StopDoingNothing.com and pay attention to what I say, because I talk about marketing quite often. But I would also go over to a couple of other websites I'm a big fan of when it comes to learning marketing and advertising. And some of these are going to involve getting on an email list, but trust me, it's worth it. I like the guys over at Thrive Themes, THRIVE themes.com, thrivethemes.com. Those guys put out really good posts on using their products, but also on good landing page design and good call to action design and good headline design and good graphic design. I love their stuff. A friend of mine, Jay Bear, runs Convince and Convert. Jay Bear runs Convince and Convert, and they have an email list and a blog that's updated multiple times a day with just great classic marketing information right there. Let's see. Oh, the guys over at Digital Marketer are doing a great job, and even they have a certification that you can learn from them on. And they have a really good conference, I believe, in March or February of every year in San Diego. That's on my list to get to, so I would make it to that conference. The guys over at ClickFunnels have a decent blog over there, and they generate a lot of good content. So go learn about them. And it's kind of an extension of that. There's a product out there at a website called close.io, CLOSE.io, and they make some software. That helps you do phone sales and text sales. But the guy, I think his name is Steffi. Someone look this up for me. His name is Steffi or Steffi. I follow him and I read their blog posts also. And that guy is really good, really energetic, curses like a sailor, but I don't care. But they put out a lot of good emails, a lot of good videos also. As a matter of fact, I think Steffi puts out like a daily 5-minute email or a daily 1-minute email, which is a video of inspiration when it comes to sales and marketing. So those are some of the classics right there. Yeah, Jerry posted a comment here. Hey, Raj, thanks for tuning in from Greenville, man. I appreciate you. John Carlton, thank you, Jerry. That's a name I've heard quite a bit of, and I've only dabbled in reading his stuff. And so that's probably one I could do better on. Eugene Schwartz, Claude Hopkins, good names. Jerry, can you do me a favor and drop a comment in there as to what little area of each one of those people do you like? John Carlton, Eugene Schwartz, Claude Hopkins. I don't, those last two names, Eugene Schwartz and Claude Hopkins, I'm not as familiar with those. So I would love to hear your comments about what in particular those ones, what you like about those ones. And another one just came to mind right here. Oh, can't believe I didn't mention this one first. Jay Abraham. Do me a favor and go over to Jay Abraham's blog and Jay Abraham's YouTube channel and subscribe. The guy puts out so much amazing long-form content. I just get blown away. I tell people whenever I do a public speaking engagement on marketing, I tell people, go over and watch his half-hour video, and I think it's exactly 32 minutes and 51 seconds, and called The Power of Preeminence. It's a speaking engagement he did. It's a long speaking engagement, but there's just a 30 minutes in there where he talks about the power of preeminence. And in every presentation I give, I reference this, and he talks about how in your industry, you want to be known as the leader, the guy that's setting the bar for everybody else, the trusted advisor, things like that, the person who will not steer somebody wrong. If you can set yourself up in your niche to be the preeminent person, the one where your competition's kind of sitting around and scratching their head and going, man, I mean, how do we keep up with Jerry Burns? I mean, the guy is a leader. Everyone, when Jerry Burns says jump, people are saying how high. If you can be that kind of person that's chased versus the one doing the chasing, number one, you're going to end up with better business. Number two, you're going to end up with higher priced business. You can charge more because you're providing a better service. But number three, your selling process, your selling cycle is going to be a lot easier to follow and a lot easier for you, to close, because you're going to walk in the door as the trusted person, as the person that's referred to all the time is, oh, you need this, you need X, Y, and Z. You need to go talk to Jerry Burns. I mean, he's the man. And once Jerry Burns walks inside the door, they're like, you're in the mode, the client's in the mode of shut up and take my money. They know that person comes in as a trusted advisor, and the barrier to sales, that natural resistance that new clients have to sales, is a lot lower when you come in and people already want to work with you, and people adore you from the get-go. And that happens to me, not as often as I would like, but it happens to me on occasion also. I get a good referral, and I'll walk in the door, and the person's like, okay, we're not here to talk about money. Money's not really the issue. We're here to talk about how soon can you get started, how do I pay you, and what strategy are we going to use to get things rolling? That's the power of preeminence right there. That's what that eventually brings to you is people just, I would love to say throwing money your way, not figuratively speaking, but people just being able to send things your way or to send business your way and for it to be an easier relationship. I also noticed that when you're considered preeminent in your field, there's obviously a lot more trust. And when there's a lot more trust in the relationship, things aren't as combative. People aren't so worried about how much money they're spending or why you did X, Y, and Z. They assume that you know what you're doing. They trust you. And as a result, they are going to just be easier to work with right there. And so that was... so that's the questions right there. What path in the marketing would I like the most? Would I like the least? And by the way, if you're in the middle of watching this show, do me a favor, be sure and go back. And by the way, Jerry, let's put your comment up here on the screen. Jerry Burns tuned in from Tulsa right there, and you can see some of the names he was talking about right there. John Carlton, Eugene Schwartz, Claude Hopkins. And like I said, Jay Abraham is another good person that I would go to learn about more of a marketing education, or if you're kind of breaking into marketing, or you want to learn more about, I guess you want to learn from people who have a lot more experience in marketing than I do or other guys do. So let's see here. Okay, let's show this. Carlton is the master of copywriting. I remember that one. Eugene Schwartz, Breakthrough Advertising, I'm assuming because that's in quotes. That's his book right there. I have not read that book, but I knew John Carlton was great on the advertising. And let me see, what do we have here? Claude Hopkins, Scientific Advertising, the Original Classic. That sounds like a book I would like because I'm a guy who likes numbers. I like quantifiable things. I like measuring things. I like ROI numbers. I like percentage increases. That's the kind I can log inside of Google Analytics, and I can get lost for hours because I see the numbers out there, and I love comparing numbers to numbers, and how does this affect this number, and how does this affect that? And he put up a comment right here. Jerry put up a comment written in 1933. Goodness gracious, 93. So that would have been something that like my dad's dad would have read or something like that. I mean, 1923. Claude Hopkins, man, I'm gonna have to get that on my Amazon reading list and see if I can download that on my Kindle sometime and pay attention to it. So, if you guys have any questions now or even later, you can obviously message me here on Facebook or drop a comment below, and I will get back to those on a future show. But as always, you can call us here at Focus 405-251-2022. But you can also just set an appointment on our calendar if you want to talk about what we can do for your business. And just go to justaskpatrick.com. Let's put that on the screen right here. Just Ask Patrick. Oh, I got something else really cool to tell you guys also before we shut this down here. Just Ask Patrick. Did I get that done right? Justaskpatrick.com. Right there. Where was that? Here we go. Oh, I lost it. Oh, there's the 1923. Let me see. Did I mess it? What did I mess up here? Whatever. Anyways, if you want to talk about marketing, 405-251-2022, or go to the website where you can set an appointment with us, justaskpatrick.com. Get on our calendar, and we love to talk about what we can do for you and your business. And this is true also if you need some training information. If you're the kind of person that you don't have the budget for to hire an outsourcing agency. We do have some remote training options where over a 4 to 8 week period, if you invest with us, we can teach you how to do it right. And you can walk away with a ton of recordings and a ton of notes so you know how to do it in your business better. But do me a favor, go back and watch this video from beginning to end and take notes on what I said. And like I said, I would love your comments. Share and tag your fellow marketing friends and also your fellow small to medium-sized business owners because I think they can get some value out of this also. We've been going here for about half an hour, which is exactly what I aim for. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to do live broadcasts just like this software that you're seeing, that's doing that spinning circle up there, and let me see right here, show, and it's doing these graphics on the screen here. Let me see here. graphics on the screen, are those showing up okay? Thanks, Raj. If you want to do the software, we're using a software called Be Live at BeLive.tv to do that. So if you're someone that wants to get into live streaming and you want this cool graphical component up there, go check it out. The software we use at BeLive.tv. It's cool stuff, reasonably priced, and I absolutely adore the software and adore the people that make it. So thank you for those of you that tuned in live. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you go watch back from beginning to end and leave some comments as to how I can help you. And until next week, or until you guys ship me another question, take care. Have a great upcoming weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.